respected devotees, again we are having a chance to have spiritual discourses and understand spirituality. Actually, I say again and again, unless and until we understand spirituality, we attend spiritual discourses, will not be able to be successful and enjoy this life properly. Human body is a gift of God. Because if you compare this human body with other species, we'll find a great difference. I was reading one day about the structure of big difference is that the cortex human brain is made in such a way that none of the species in the world, of course, some species have got more neurons than the human brain, but the way the human brain is created and the efficiency and the capacity of human brain, the qualities of human brain are unique. So in reality, it is the best creation of God. And that's why only in this creation we can understand ourselves, that who am I? Another species, whether it is a god or an elephant or any except human beings, they can never think about that, where from they come, why they have come, where we are to go, what is the purpose of human life. All these capacities are only in the human body. Not only that much, human body has the capacity to perform karma. Whether other species, they can just enjoy, they can't perform a new karma. For example, cow gives you milk, but cow cannot make a pudding from it. You can make a pudding. If you offer that pudding, she can eat that, it can eat that, but it can't make it. So working capacity, doing new karmas is also a chance only in human beings. So human life is the golden chance we have got. And if we don't understand the importance of human body, the day we leave this body, we'll repent. That's why spirituality educates us, inspires us to understand this importance of human body and do that work for which we have come into this human body. Other species can do so many things, miraculous things, better than a human being, but they can't realize themselves. So when we have got this chance, let's take this opportunity, utilize this opportunity and understand that why we have come into this world. What is the purpose of human life? Actually, people may have different spiritual thinkings, but one thing is common, that we are part of God and we want to be merged in God. If you see any part of the world, when we throw a stone into the air, it comes down on the earth. Science says it is because of the gravity of the earth. Spirituality says because it was part of the earth, so it came back to the earth. Anything which is part of the source wants to merge in the source. If you see the water, since it's a part of sea, it again wants to merge in the source. Until it merges, reaches the sea, it keeps flowing, it doesn't become stable. We make it stable, but when it gets the chance, it will flow. And its direction is to the sea, because it's part of sea. Similarly, we are part of God till we realize God within ourselves. We will never have satisfaction in our life. So how to realize God? God is one thing I would like to clear. People do many things to realize God. But we forget that God is metaphysical. He is beyond the senses, beyond the brain. And so to experience God, we need something metaphysical. With a physical thing, we can never experience God. And in our body, all the senses are physical. Even the brain is physical. So if we try to experience God, even understand God through the brain and senses, it's just an imagination only. Actually, it can never experience God. Because the senses and brain are not made for experiencing God. Through the brain, we can talk about God. We can understand that we have come to experience God. We can understand spiritual discourses. But even the brain cannot experience God. And now what has happened? Generally religious practices, even so-called spiritual practices, people try to meditate on God through the senses or through the brain. Somebody was talking to me about Tratak. They put a black spot and they concentrate on that. Doing that concentration practice, it may give you some powers, some memory powers or whatever it may be. But it can never make you happy. It can never make you realize, experience God. So, because God is energy and that energy is metaphysical, and there is a difference between physical and metaphysical, and difference between physical meditation and metaphysical meditation. I was one day talking about the Vipassana meditation. Today also somebody was talking to me about Vipassana meditation, that he did Vipassana meditation, and but still he feels that something is still remaining there. It's not giving him complete happiness. The reason is, in Vipassana, we meditate on the breath. Breath is oxygen, carbon dioxide. It's physical. Oxygen and carbon dioxide physical. Science has been able to experiment with oxygen and carbon dioxide. And even so many experiments, science can manufacture also, prepare also oxygen and carbon dioxide through processes. Chemical processes, they can take out oxygen. Just now from water, when they put electrodes in water, hydrogen comes out and oxygen comes out. So these are physical things. And if we meditate on physical things, they will never satisfy the mind. Because mind, is physical also and metaphysical also. Mind is a very, very peculiar thing. Only through spiritual discourses, only through spirituality, we can understand. First, let's forget God. Even we cannot understand the mind. Science has progressed that much. But up till now, science cannot explain the mind. Psychologists cannot properly explain the mind. And science has no break also for the mind, because science doesn't understand what the mind is. They think, they sometimes combine mind and brain and say mind is just something of the brain. Whereas brain is different, mind is different. And when we say mind does not have brain, many intellectuals, in the beginning they don't accept also. What are you saying? Mind does not have brain. Really it doesn't have brain. It's such a thing, very peculiar, very peculiar. To understand the mind, we need to understand, we need to listen a lot of satsang and spiritual discourses. And only that much will not be sufficient. After that, when we experience that power, the God within us, and when we connect the mind to it, and when our right brain starts working, then slowly we can understand the total functioning of the mind. Generally what people do, those ignorant people, they think I and my mind are same. If mind has a desire, they will say, oh, I have this desire, I want to fulfill this desire. They forget that it is not me, it is my mind. And when you make the mind your master, it's the main cause of suffering in life. Servant has to be a servant. God has given mind as our servant. Let's not make it our master. And unless and until we understand that and keep it as a servant, we cannot enjoy life. We cannot excel in life. Mind has to be given a job, and that is to get it, keep it concentrated. You know, we work with hands, we work with eyes, we work with mouth. So many works we perform. The energy of soul is there through the mind. But while doing all these things, the mind is free. So where to keep the mind at that time? What does the mind do? Because it is free, it is roaming in different thoughts, different imaginations, and they all give us instability, and instability is a type of suffering. So if while working, we could keep the mind concentrated, then our performance will be better. If the mind is with the brain and we are thinking while working, our performance will not be up to the mark. I read about a Superman theory of Maharishi Aurobindo, a great yogi. He says, while working, if you think, your performance will not be the superior one. But if while working you forget yourself, your working is better. Let's take the example of a car driver. While he is driving the car, suddenly a child comes before him. At that time, if he thinks that I have to put a brake, by the time there will be the accident. But an expert driver, as soon as he sees a child in front of the car, automatically his leg goes on the brake and he puts on the brake. It's so fast, the child is saved. So if we start thinking that I have to put a brake, by the time there will be accident. A good player, the top class players, the champions, while playing, they don't remember that now I have to put this shot. They don't think that goes automatically. So when the senses, the working organs work automatically without hindrance from the brain, it becomes super work. And that's the theory of Superman propagated by Aurobindo. So everybody wants that I should work perfectly in this work. All my actions should be perfect. But we don't know how we can make our actions perfect. Nothing is required. What we have to do, we have to take the mind into concentration. The more you are concentrated, because I've talked many times, mind has got 4 levels of concentration. Beta, alpha, theta and delta. The speed of beta is very fast. A bit lesser is theta. more lesser is alpha, beta speed is very fast, lesser is alpha, more lesser is theta, and very, very less is delta. So as we reduce the speed of the mind, that means the mind gets more and more concentrated and our performance will be better. Take the example of a ray of light. A difference between a ray of light and laser. Both are ray of light. One is not concentrated, but the laser is concentrated. And once the ray of light became concentrated, it is performing miracles. Take the example of charcoal and diamond. Both are carbon. But what is the difference between charcoal and diamond is concentrated, so much concentrated charcoal that it became a diamond. So if in our life we become more and more concentrated, we'll excel in life. This is the secrecy of excelling in our deeds. This is the way to achieve perfection in our actions. And so the theory, the simple philosophy is we have to concentrate the mind. Now to concentrate the mind, there are so many physical aspects also. Like I was talking about Tratak, people do other types of yogi exercises also to concentrate the mind, breathing exercises. But that helps, but that cannot totally concentrate the mind because mind is metaphysical. If you try to concentrate something metaphysical through physical means, it will help only up to a limited extent, not beyond that. But if you could concentrate the mind through something metaphysical, it will be a great level of concentration. So, what is metaphysical within us? That is the energy which is within us. In spirituality we call it God, science calls it energy. I just take it both same. The explanations are different, but the same power which science calls as energy within us, the conscious within us, we simply call it God. So, the God within us is the metaphysical power within us. And mind has got two roles. A role of metaphysical also and physical also. It can perform double, While it is with the senses, it becomes physical. And while it is with the metaphysical power, it becomes metaphysical. So, to concentrate the mind permanently, when we concentrate it, when we connect it to the metaphysical power within us, we'll get total peace of mind. And our working will be high class. In whichever field we go, we'll perform in a better way. So friends, how to connect the mind with the spiritual power within us, with the energy, with God within us. Spirituality says God is within us in the form of sound and light. That sound is called as holy name and that light is called as divine light. Now, we have to understand this holy name. What is that holy name which is within our breath? People give so many names to God. We call God by different names. We remember God with so many names. We meditate on so many names of God. But these names are given by us, created by us. But there is a name of God which is natural, which was before creation also, which is existing now also, and which will remain even after this world is finished. This creation is finished. Still, that name will remain because it is primordial and it is eternal. So, actually, we have to connect the mind with that name, and that name will permanently control the mind. So, the greatest achievement in life is first to understand that name, to experience that name, and to meditate on that name, to connect the mind with that name. Unless until we experience the name, we cannot connect our mind to that name. So first we have to experience which name of God is within us, which is natural and which is omnipresent. We say God is omnipresent. Everybody says that. Wherever you go, your name goes with you. It's not possible that you go to America and leave your name at your home. The name is always with you. Similarly, when God is everywhere, God is omnipresent, the name of God should also be omnipresent. Have you ever thought what is the omnipresent name of God? In Hindu scripture, we call the name of God as Rama. Rama means, if you analyze the word Rama, Rama means the one which is omnipresent. So, which is that name of God which is omnipresent? Omnipresent means, if you see the creation from a scientific angle, by the combination of atom, by the different combinations of atom, this world has been created. So if that name of God is omnipresent, it must be within each and every atom of the universe. It must be within each and every atom of the universe. So if you go in an atom, these names that we call, the names by which we remember God, just imagine, can any of these names be within an atom? You will say no. Then what is that name which is even within an atom, due to which the electrons are revolving around the nucleus? That name is the original and the true name of God. And that name, in simple language, we call as a primordial vibration. I am using the word primordial. Primordial means something which was even before creation, in the beginning. So that name of God, that vibration, because I am using the word vibration, so to clearly make you understand the name of God. Because by name we are confused. Any name that I am speaking, technically, scientifically, it's just a vibration. I am making a vibration. Different vibrations, different frequencies of vibration make different words, and that's why we hear so many words. It's just a difference of vibrations. So that name of God, all the names of God that we also speak with mouth, Rama, Krishna, God, Jehovah, Allah, whatever name we speak, these are also vibrations created by us. But we made these vibrations. We caused these vibrations. But spiritual science says there is a natural vibration. There is a primordial vibration which was before this creation, which we didn't create. That vibration, that cosmic vibration, that super vibration, which is omnipresent, which is existing in each and every atom of the universe, is the true name of God. And since it is a vibration which we cannot pronounce through our mouth, that's why it was called something unuttering, inutterable. You can't utter it. And that's why Tao said, dumb word. Dumb word. Yesterday, someone was asking me, how can a dumb utter the name of God? I said the holy name Even a dumb can meditate on that because it is beyond words, beyond tongue, beyond vocabulary, beyond expression. And in the mother's womb, we were meditating on that holy name. So, the essence of spirituality is that name. If when we take some orange or something, when we squeeze it, a juice comes up and we drink that juice. Similarly, if you squeeze all the scriptures of the world, all the philosophies of the world, what their masters have come, if you squeeze into one thing, what will come out? The holy name of God. So the one who understands the holy name, he understands the whole spirituality, the essence of spirituality. But it's not easy to understand the name. What is that name of God, which was in the beginning, due to which we are alive, and which is eternal? Guru Nanak said, in Hindi he says, Jugadi sach, heavy such, Nanak hosi bhi such. He says it was truth in the beginning, it's truth today also, and afterwards also it will remain truth. So that's the true name of God. And to understand that name, to experience that name, we need the help of someone, some enlightened person who can make us experience that name. Because it's metaphysical, so through books we can't have it. By concentrating on the breath also, we can't go within it. But that name, to experience that name, we have to take the help of an enlightened person who can impart spiritual power within us and make us so concentrated that we can listen to that name. Just I finish with a small story. That name was, we used to remember in mother's womb, and when we came out, now we are not experiencing that name. What's the reason behind that? Somebody purchased a wall clock, a pendulum clock, and the salesman said that when the pendulum clock moves left and right, it makes a sound. So if that sound is there, tick tick sound is there, you can assume that your clock is working perfectly. He brought the clock in the evening, put in his bedroom, in his drawing room, and it was working perfectly. He was listening to the tick tick. Whole night it was making that sound. In the morning his house was on the road. In the morning he opened the windows, opened the door, and after some time a procession was going on. Because of the sound of the procession, he couldn't hear that sound of the wall clock. He called the salesman. Salesman came, he said, you gave me a watch, this clock, but now it's not working. He said, wow. He said, I'm not listening to that sound of tick tick. The salesman said, okay, I'll make you listen that sound. He closed the door, closed the windows, and asked him to bring his ear near the clock. The tick tick, the sound was there. Due to the outer noise, he was not able to hear that sound, to listen to that sound. Similar is the case with us. In the mother's womb, all these doors were closed. The eyes were closed, ears were closed, and all the windows were closed. So we could experience that holy name. When we came out, all these doors and windows were opened, and because of the noise of the worldly maya, the worldly noise, we can't experience that name. But when we meet a spiritual master, a perfect one, not the one who are unenlightened, if we meet a true one who has experienced that name and who have merged his mind with that name, when we meet that one, he will make us experience that name which we meditated in the mother's womb. So friends, the time is up. We'll discuss about the name on any other day in total discussion. Name requires a long discussion. And so if we keep on listening to the spiritual discourses, slowly we'll understand the name. And if we understand the name, we understand the mystery of the universe and creation. Thank you very much. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. And I wish that these spiritual discourses, if we keep on listening to that, it will enlighten us. And with this, we can bring peace within us also and the whole humanity also. Thank you very much.